Under this head cover I have PXG's first ever forgiving club, and introducing the Black Ops PXG irons. Irons that are a long time in the waiting. We know with PXG they've always had your player irons. We also know they've now gone into hollow body, but this is the first club they have designed which is for the beginner golfer. These are forgiving, a nice wide sole on these Black Ops irons. And would you be thinking PXG when you think forgiveness? For me, I tested these out in Arizona. They look fantastic behind the ball. And they perform fantastic just like that. For a forgiving iron, they feel soft, they sound soft, they don't feel or sound anything like your traditional brands, but that's exactly what you would expect from PXG. But as we know, with this kind of club, there's only one man we want and you want to see test these, and that is our mid-handicapper. That is Dave in his terrible Leeds United shirt today. He did send me something last night. He said Max Verstappen did something with Leeds and he hasn't won since.
Well, they're both sponsored by Red Bull, aren't they?
The curse of Leeds United. But let's see if that doesn't have an effect on these PXG irons. So 4-iron here, Dave, an iron that you wouldn't have in the bag.
No, not generally, Chris.
Okay, so a wide sole on here. Be interested to see, obviously, first looks down behind the ball, Dave.
The top line's much thicker than that previous PXG that we were talking about.
Yep, the 0311P, yeah.
But still nice looking.
Yeah, still nice looking, obviously down there, and again a bag appeal from the back of it also looks good in the bag. So let's see what Dave can do here. Look at that flight. And again, sound and feel, Dave, where was the strike on that one?
Let's have a look. I can't see.
Let's have a look on the face. So again, towards
there, I think.
Towards the toe.
Yeah.
So again, not in the middle, but still getting a good flight out there. Still getting down there, Dave.
Which isn't unusual for me. Not the good flight, the fact that it wasn't in the middle.
Well, no, that is not unusual, but the flight certainly was. So this for me is exactly what we need to think about with these irons. We've got a nice thick sole to obviously get better interaction with the turf. Again, just to get a better strike for most golfers, but for me, one thing to consider if you're getting these irons, if you are getting into golf and you've got quite a high club head speed, then these might go too far. So in the fitting, I'm hoping, I still had the footage, but the 7-iron was going 215 yards. So in comparison to the irons I had last week, the 0311Ps, the new Gen 7 irons, it was carrying and going around about 25 yards further with the same 7-iron. So that's something for you to consider. If you're losing that little bit of speed, you need some more launch, you need some more distance, then these could be absolutely perfect. But for me here, from 167 yards, I've had to club down a couple of clubs, but I still get the good flight. The flight exactly that I'm expecting there, and that is up and on the middle of the green. So this is exactly what we're trying to do here. It would take some getting used to, but maybe for someone like Dave or maybe a mid-handicap golfer, it might not take as long to get used to because the lofts might be much closer to what you've got. And again, you might think about a split set with these irons. You maybe go them in the longer irons and then go into something like the 0311P irons, the Gen 7 irons, in the shorter stuff. This is exactly what you might see with something like TaylorMade, Ping, Callaway, all the other manufacturers maybe have those split sets that could be an option. So Dave's got a mid-iron shot in here, and if we talk about the soles of these clubs, this is what the Black Ops look like. I'm going to grab, or Dave is going to grab, the 311P 7-iron, because we can see this is exactly what it's designed for. Like we say, better interaction with the turf. But if we look at the differences there in those two clubs, we can see that the 0311 is nearly half the size of that sole. So again, attracting a different player, also getting a different interaction with the ground. But let's see now what Dave does with the Black Ops. So again, a fantastic long iron off the tee, and now we've got Dave's distance, his normal distance, in with a 7-iron. So 150 yards here, just like the hole we are going to play next. Okay, a low one.
Well, it wasn't the best hit, but
if we look at the forgiveness
that's
there,
how forgiving it is.
Obviously, if we would certainly take that one as a good bad one. Pin high, lost your balance a little bit. Let's see what this one does. So again, all the technology you can have in these clubs, but again, forgiveness there has worked exactly as you would expect. And that is a great shot, Dave. A nice high fade in there. And that, Dave, he would take all day.
Certainly would. Decent.
Great shot. So Dave, obviously one noticeable thing for you, you've just mentioned there off camera, is the sound and feel off those.
Yeah, considering that they're a forgiving iron, I wasn't expecting them to feel quite as soft as they do.
Soft, and obviously sound-wise, they don't necessarily, even those off the bottom didn't sound too clicky.
No,
like.
they weren't. Well, I didn't think they were clicky at all. That first one that I just hit into the green, you know, it wasn't the best shot in the world. Really forgiving, didn't sound bad, and still had a bit of a soft feel, even though it was right off the bottom. Well, I like to think it would off one of the grills.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But obviously on the channel we do get a lot of comments saying that a lot of people don't care about the sound. Are you somebody who does care about the sound of the clubs?
I think the sound goes with the feel. If it's a nice sound, they generally have a good, nice, soft feel for me.
Yeah.
So they kind of go together. So I understand what people are saying, but I think it's more a personal thing. It's how you perceive it.
Yeah, and you've liked them so far. Let's jump over onto the 6 hole now. A nice par 3 here at Waterfront. Let's see how they do.
That means I've got to walk back.
We've got to walk back, Dave, but we're going to jump in the studio before that, so we've got a lot of walking to do. Okay, so in with the Tacomos here. So we're going to go 7 irons inside. So most of the time when you go and get fitted, you will try just a 7 iron. If you go somewhere like SGGT, just like Dave did, you will try a pitching wedge, 8 iron, 6 iron, and even a 4 iron. 7 iron there, pretty good strike. A little bit of a pull, Dave.
A little bit of a pull.
And what have we got? We've got 134 carry, going 140. So a couple more with this, and then we'll compare this to the PXGs. So straight away we know, obviously, we have got that graphite shaft in here, and we know we will get some comments saying there's going to be a little bit of difference in there, but we want to see the flight. And also the feel and forgiveness, because that one there, a little bit heavy, Dave.
It was heavy, but you know, went relatively straight. Okay, I'll be playing out of a bunker, but...
So 113 going 119. So quickly a drop off there, but that's exactly what you would expect to see from that kind of strike. So let's go one more here.
A little bit of a drop kick again, Chris.
A little bit of a drop.
But that's me, that's not the club, is it? So.
No, but again, that's carrying 121. We will go one more, Dave. Okay, so one more for Dave with his 7 iron. But this is showing a true mid-handicap golfer. Is that a better strike, Dave?
Yes.
That was more of a standard strike, just over 125 going 131.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was.
Right, let's switch over. So now we are in with the Black Ops. So straight away we know behind the ball, Dave, looks a lot bigger.
It looks meatier. The top line's thicker.
Yeah.
It feels a bit heavier in the head.
Yeah, so we know obviously wider sole than your Tacomos, filled completely.
I'm guessing there's more mass in it. It's bigger, isn't it? So.
Exactly, so they're trying to get as much forgiveness. Like we've seen on those pictures, we have got it filled full of polymer in there. So again, different to other manufacturers. But let's see what it does in here again. Sound and feel and performance. Well, certainly seems to be a good strike. Little draw there, let's see. 151 going 160, and this is where, yes, these are stronger lofts. So we can see there for Dave, a good strike there. That has gone nearly 20 yards further carry.
Stronger loft, but look, you know, it's decent height.
And that's the thing. So this is exactly what they've tried to do, PXG. It has been a long time in the making for this, but look at the flight there. That is just as high, if not higher, than those Tacomos, even with a steel shaft in there, which was, as a norm, launched that little bit lower.
Drop kick, but so, still worked for me, hasn't it, really?
Miss hit there, what's that carried? So interesting, 128 carry there, so that's still as good as a good strike from the Tacomos. So certainly showing the forgiveness in there. Yes, a missed strike, but we've still got away with it. So let's see one more from Dave, and then let's get back out onto that golf course.
Very insistent, isn't he?
Very?
Insistent, the bloke who keeps saying ready.
Oh, it is, he's a bit keen. Look at the height on that. That is a towering shot. What is it going to carry? 146, going 155. So a big landing angle there, Dave. Yes, we need to move the green back because that has gone a long way. So further than your Tacomos, very interesting there.
It'd be interesting to see what you'd do about gapping with these though, because they're nowhere near for distance of any other irons that I've had.
Yeah, so this would be interesting at the bottom end of the bag. Obviously, when we go to the pitching wedge, would that go a little bit too far, or would it be good? Because David would be obviously hitting it that little bit further. So obviously, it's not just the bottom end of your bag as well. You have to start to think about the top end of your bag, because the 6 iron, well, that 7 iron there is going probably as far as your hybrids that you've changed into.
That would go. That 7 iron's going about the same distance, especially carry, as my 6 hybrid that I've got. So you'd end up thinking about, you know, do you take hybrids out and carry on with irons? Are you happy with the hybrids? It's probably going higher than the hybrid is. So.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where these clubs are designed, wider sole. They still get the launch, still get the distance, and this is where you might then end up with a full set of irons again, get rid of your hybrids. If you don't like hybrids, it could be a perfect option. Let's get back out on that golf course now, put it to the test. Okay, so not a bad opening hole there on the 7th hole here at Waterfront. We've now jumped back a hole. We're on the 6th hole, and Dave is going to come in and play this. A perfect 7 iron from here, so it is playing 155 yards. So this, we know these lofts are a little bit stronger, but we know also this club is designed to get that launch. All that forgiveness on the bottom of the sole. Like we said, sound and feel is something that Dave was impressed with on the 1st hole, and that's what they've tried to do with these. They haven't brought out a game improvement iron until now, and we'll show you obviously the differences inside this club compared to a couple of other competitors, and it's the main reason why they get the sound and the feel as well as that performance. And that, Dave, is a fantastic shot. So a perfect flight straight towards the flag.
I think it stopped as well.
And that stopped just after the pin. Again, feel and sound, Dave. It certainly, for me, sounded nice and soft.
Can I just say, considering where I hit it off the face, that did so well.
Well, that is interesting, Dave, and that proves the point, obviously, the technology they've got in here. Obviously, we'll go through that now as we walk down this hole, because they've certainly done some interesting things. So a lot of times, obviously, when we're talking forgiving clubs, we're talking about the MOI, we're talking about how much forgiveness do they actually have. And we went to PXG, we was lucky enough to go to the factory and see where everything was done. And these were some of the clubs that we had. So 2 other brands, we can see how they fill their clubs as well. So how much polymer they put in there. Do they fill the full cavity? Are they partially filling it? And you can see there, PXG have filled the whole of it. So they have filled it all to get the sound, to get the feel, whereas other brands have left gaps where they don't always fill that. And that's where you might get that clicky sound from. It also might be where you maybe see some shots that go, okay, you might get a normal shots 150 yards with your 6 iron, but you might get one that goes 170. Is it getting that trampoline effect? Is it getting something off a certain point of the face that can make you get those inconsistencies? And was lucky enough to hit some balls inside with 3 different clubs, PXG, 2 other manufacturers that we'll not name, but we could see the consistency and distance, front to back dispersion, which is exactly what you think about when you're thinking about these clubs. A thinner face, which also was eye-opening how much thinner it is than the other brands. So certainly a lot of things in these clubs for you to be able to think, right, they have put all that technology in, they have waited 10 years to make sure they've got it exactly right before they release these clubs. And that is where Dave's has finished. So you can see there, pitch just behind the flag, and from that strike has stopped pretty quickly. So that's exactly what we're wanting to see from those clubs. Should more people be using these clubs? I would definitely say so. So guys, very interesting there from these clubs. They could be perfect for you, and they are the first forgiving iron that has been brought out by PXG. So 10 years in the making, they've certainly gone to town on these. They are getting the flight, they are getting the performance. For me, they do go a long way. So just think about it. What's your club head speed? How far are you hitting the ball? These might be a little bit too strong potentially, but if you can match them in, maybe do a mix of a set and a 311 piece, for example, you might get the best of both worlds. So fantastic irons out from PXG this year, and we will be putting those to the test, or especially the 0311 P irons against the TaylorMade, the new P770. So guys, hopefully you're enjoying this content. What else do you want to see from myself and Dave? We'll see you tomorrow.